All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway Truck Series, aka the Super Speedway Gabe Butler Series, here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway, as drivers putting down their qualifying laps for our 78 lap to be determined lap race here tonight at Talladega. Of course, bringing that up, always the potential for 3 Green White Checkered attempts tonight. Of course, also 2 faster pairs, so everybody's got a couple of outs in case they get caught up in some incidents, giving them a chance to have a shot at the win this evening. Looks like about 22, 23 trucks taking the field here this evening. Say we do have a booth driver in the field here this evening of Matt Wagner. We'll see if we can bother him some points during tonight's race as well. But also up here in the booth with me is our esteemed colleague of Maxwell Caldwell. And Maxwell, we're back to the big 2.66 mile oval with that extra very important 8 feet of space between the yellow line and the outside wall, which makes all the difference for these trucks to run 3x3 for most of this race tonight.
Absolutely. It just makes it more comfortable, I think, for some of these drivers. You can definitely do 3 wide at Daytona, but it gets real narrow feeling. Even though that track is wide enough, it feels so much more narrow. But the extra space here at the gigantic Talladega Superspeedway here definitely makes 3x3 action just easy breezy, right? They could even go 4 wide, I think, if they wanted to and still feel comfortable. But definitely going to be an interesting show tonight if it's anything like these first few races we've seen, Gail.
Yeah, exactly right. I'd say the one thing that has been consistent though has been the number 1 truck of Gabe Butler so far, 3 for 3 in this series. And I mean, he's also just been killing on the Super Speedway Sunday side as well, getting, I believe, 2 of the 4 wins over there. And last week he didn't win, but he finished second. So just how good he's been so far this season. But of course, the big thing is it doesn't matter how good you are beginning of the season. It gets you into the top 8, sure, but you got to be there in those final 4 races. That's what's going to pay the bucks at the end of the season. So we'll see. We do have a couple of viewers tonight. Skylo rooting for Team Walker, as is Shock Trauma. So definitely appreciate you guys supporting your driver there in the number 20 of Derek Walker. We'll definitely keep an eye on him during the race tonight as well. So it's always fun seeing everybody that are on, supporting your favorite drivers, friends, family. And of course, if you are here watching, don't be shy. Feel free to chat if you have any questions. If you want to just an update on your driver, just want to see their paint scheme, anything and everything, that's what we're here for. We want to try to make it as enjoyable for you as possible. So definitely, like I said, we're here to try to make things fun for you all to watch. We have enough fun on our own just doing these things, so definitely let us know how we can help things out. So yeah, hope you're all having a wonderful evening tonight, Maxwell. It's Friday Eve, and we're coming up on a long weekend as well here for hopefully for some, not for all. I did some quizzing of drivers, and a couple are like, yeah, we don't get labor off. We're in Canada. I was like, oh, sorry about that. So unfortunately, not all are going to get that extra day off. But hopefully for those that are able to take advantage of it, enjoy that extra longer weekend before we get back into the fall weather, I guess. Although me being in Arizona, I don't really know what fall weather is, Maxwell, so you might have to kind of tell me what that's all about.
You would think I would know fall weather, but Western Kentucky, man, we get every season, it seems like every month. So definitely hot, humid, and hazy where we are. It's been nice the past few days, but going to get really, really hot again. And they say it's going to feel like summer going into fall. So summer, my favorite time of season, though, because it's race season, right? So these guys are wrapping up some of this qualifying session, Gael. Got a few fast guys out here in the field, and maybe some different people so far looking like they're topping the charts, right? We see Gary Jenkins in the 90 going to hit a top time here. Gabe Butler slotting in second, though, not up at the top like we're used to seeing, though. So maybe these Team Boot Knocker guys have their work cut out for them tonight, and maybe we might have some drivers that can dethrone Gabe Butler for this win.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of goal. They may not want to admit it, but I think that's going to be the goal for a lot of drivers, including the teammates of that one truck of Gabe Butler. And again, Gabe, I mean, he's talked about it during the season where he's like, hey, I've got teammates to repay. They're the ones that kind of push me to the front or help me stay at the front. So that's just the kind of the typical selfless Gabe that we're used to seeing, and honestly love to see as well. He's got a little bit of everything the way he is with things. But with that though, it looks like drivers starting a grid here this evening. So with that, let's go ahead and pull up that starting grid, Maxwell. See where our drivers are going to start tonight. as it's going to be Gary Jenkins on pole position there by just over a hundredth of a second over Gabe. Charles Johnson going to start in third. Tom Dixon, James Mohan going to round out our top 5. Then you got Vicente Guerrero, Bud Steele, Derek Walker, JD Crow, Robert Rock, our top 10. Continuing down the order, you've got 11th Eric Laurie, Dean Wilkinson in 12th, and then David Bond, Robert DuPont, Jay Hilliard, and then the drivers opting not to qualify tonight. You got Matt Wagner, Robert Duvendak, Bob Fitzgerald, Dan Harrington, Guy Bracco, Robert Jordan, Jason Adams, and Randy Miner in 23rd. I'm also hearing some rumors that one of the big boss men, though, of Charles Johnson, I was hearing he's got some guys viewing his race here this evening. So again, if you're one of those coworkers, buddies of Charles Johnson, definitely welcome, and he's hoping you enjoy tonight's race, and say he's going to already starting off qualifying in that third position. So, like I said, don't be shy. Feel free to chat in, give us a hard time, keep us honest. That's what we're here to do. So with that, though, let's go ahead and grab our commentator / racer this evening. Let's find that number 11 vehicle of Matt Wagner. I'll say, I don't even think he's graded yet, so he's probably still trying to get ready here. But Matt, it's time. I say you're in the field here. What's the plan for tonight's race?
Oh, the plan is to survive. It's going to be an absolute learning curve for me. I have not raced in the trucks in so long, and it's wow. It's just going to be all about survival for me.
So I saw you had some buddies in a group here working with Vicente, and it looks like Jason Adams tonight. So is the goal just to kind of get your feet wet, or is it going to be maybe try to work with Jason Vicente as much as you can this evening?
I'm going to be working with Vicente most of the time. He's going to throw me some tips and tricks. He is, in my book, probably one of the most underrated racers here. So we'll see how it goes. We'll try to keep the car clean, and hopefully we can get hopefully a nice little top 10 finish. I think that's our goal here tonight.
I think it's definitely doable. In that number 11 Merc X Toyota Tundra there with the Twitch handle on the back. So if you want to watch this guy drive in circles, gonna be switching from VR to triples here soon. So that'll be fun to see. Always fun to help Matt spend money. So good luck, Matt. We'll see if we get to chat with you later on this evening.
I appreciate the money spending.
All right, that was Matt Wagner in that number 11 machine. We'll jump back up front to that number 90, our pole sitter here, Gary Jenkins. So, all right, Maxwell, so we've talked to our driver. We've talked to some of our people here tonight on the chat. But up front, though, we're going to have the 90 and the 1 teammates lining up that front row. And then next to them, Charles Johnson, Tom Dixon. I'll say kind of splitting the teammates up again. But I do see a couple Team Extreme drivers near each other with the 7 and the 411 as well. So we've got a couple teammates near each other, but not officially lined up yet. But how quick do you think these guys are going to try to get hooked up with each other and kind of just stay dedicated the rest of the way?
I don't know that any of these drivers are going to just stay dedicated for a lot of this race. I will say that I think before we cross the start-finish line for the completion of lap 1, we're going to see 3 wide already. These guys have Gabe Butler starting up front yet again. He is racking in points. They know he's practically already locked in if he keeps this rate up. They've got to get up here, keep him from leading the lap, keep him from leading the most. They have got to start taking a lead back from Gabe Butler before he just runs away with yet another season. But Gael, the pace car is off. The 90 is down here on the front row with the 1, and we are getting ready to take this green flag to get this event started.
Yeah, waiting for it to get to that Geico restart zone. Initial start always on the green. Waiting for that flagman, and we are down and away. Ken mentioned it looks like the 24 of Jason Adams actually had to jump into the pits there, so he looks like he's going to start a little bit further back. And not sure about Randy Miner as well, not showing him in the field. So right now showing 21 trucks on the grid here, taking the green here, so we'll keep an eye on Jason. But right now the inside line, kind of as we expect, Maxwell prevailing as they get through 1 and 2, but then the momentum shifts, goes to that outside line, and we'll see Gabe and Tom Dixon start to make that big charge on that second lane.
Absolutely. The second lane starting to draw even with the bottom line. They are coming around turn 3 and 4. I am surprised we haven't seen 3 wide yet, but watch for that 14. Vicente Guerrero, he knows he's got to make up some points. He may try to work with that 20 to see if he can't make a third lane work here pretty soon. But for now, these guys are staying pretty calm, pretty tame. But now it's time to see. There they go, 3 wide with the TW Motorsports drivers there in the back. But it looks like Gabe Butler picking up right where he left off, leading the first lap and getting that exclusive bonus point.
Yeah, doesn't get the pole position point, but he does get a lap lead over his teammate there, Gary Jenkins. So that's a job one done for that number 1 truck. So now, like I said, that third lane, though, like I said, it's TW Motorsport. You got the 171 there, the 55, and I believe the 59 all tagging on together here as they're heading down the backstretch. And you see Gabe already straight to the apron there, got his lap lead, said, all right, let's back it down here. Going to play it safe until it's time to make some big moves later on. So I'll say Gabe doing Gabe things here, just kind of putting them up and taking them down.
Absolutely, and I was wrong, Gael. I am so sorry. These guys are going to wait till lap 2 to take it 3x3x3, but here they are in the tri-oval. I think we're going to see this for at least the next 10 laps or so. These guys just 3x3x3, trying to get everything and anything they can get. And really watching these TW guys, normally they run at the back, Gael. They normally like to hang out and try to let the race play out. But notice the aggression level tonight as they're all 3 in a row. It's like they have a game plan. They know what they want to do. And now they're coming up here and they are going to try to make it happen. And I'm really watching that TW guy in the middle of that group, Dean Wilkinson. Man, had some great runs last season, made the playoffs, but couldn't really do much as far as a championship run. But I saw something out of TW last year that really started making me think that this season could be the season for them to take the races to Team Bootknocker Esports, and it looks like that's working real right now. A little bit more of an aggressive attitude over at TW Motorsports. Looks like it's helping them get the lead and maybe even a lap lead here.
Yeah, it looks like at the line, Robert Rock may have just been a couple inches ahead here. So yeah, right now they're running that third lane very nicely here. And on the middle, though, now that middle's starting to form a little bit with that 411 Tom Dixon, Vicente Guerrero giving that little shove there. And then just peeking into that third truck on the middle, there is that 20 we just mentioned of Derek Walker. There goes the 90. He drops to the inside line. That's going to slow the momentum down for the bottom. And you see right there the 411, the 14, they sneak right in front of Charles Johnson. That's going to allow Derek now to lead the middle lane. But again, he's got to wait for his help to come, and that's going to be the 33 of David Bond, the 99 of Robert Duvendak. They're getting locked on here as well, so watch that 20 start to surge once more as Charles Johnson saw the slightest of openings there, Maxwell. He's going to take it. He wants to get to the front in that number 9.
Absolutely he does. He is racing hard, making aggressive moves. We see that a lot out of this number 9 machine of Charles Johnson. Really races super hard from the drop of the green. But, doesn't always find himself there at the end of these races. I know these past couple, he has definitely gotten in his fair share of incidents. Luckily, he was able to make up some spots and kind of get his way slowly back to some top 10 finishes, I believe. But I think the goal for that 9 maybe is to get up front here, make a few laps, and try to just settle into a rhythm. He needs to make sure he brings that truck back in one piece this evening.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, of course, we haven't talked about yet tonight is the bonus points. A clean race here tonight with 0 incidents means 3 bonus points for your championship hopes. So, and we talk about it every season, Maxwell. Once it comes time for the playoff cutoff for that 8th position, and then B, time for the championship, who's able to hoist that trophy, bonus points always come into play because we've seen a number of times where one clean race would actually swing a driver's championship hopes from outside to inside. So that's going to be something that these guys are very aware of. And then, of course, everything changes once you get that, maybe that off track or just a 2X or whatever it might be with contact with another car. You kind of can change your style of racing and say, well, you know what, I'm not getting those bonus points. Time to step up the aggression and get after it. So we'll see. But like I said, right now with 21 cars in this lead pack, unfortunately, Jason Adams had to go back on the pit road. So still some technical difficulties for that 24 machine. So still holding with 21, though, solidly in this main pack right here.
Absolutely. These guys are really going after it. And, you bring up a good point. 20 cars tonight. Not very many drivers here to make time. Kind of a slow start to our season compared to last year, but hey, anybody here watching the broadcast, you want a great place to come run some awesome truck racing here at the Super Speedways. Area 51 is your place. I'm sure the admins here would love to have you join this field and get it a little bit fuller, but although we have a smaller field, we've got a lot of big names for Area 51 in this field. the 411 of Tom Dixon, though, leading the way with Vicente Guerrero right there on the bumper. And Gael, I sound like a broken record, and I promise I'm not biased, but man, I keep waiting week after week after week for that 14 to finally snag that win. He's been so close so many times, shown so much speed. Maybe tonight could be the night for that 14 car.
Yeah, I mean, he does obviously have a little bit of extra help tonight with Matt Wagner as the 7. Got real loose there, entering 3 of James Mohan, and hangs on to it there. But yeah, right now, Vicente kind of in a Team Extreme sandwich. And it looked like a moment there for the 33 as well of David Bond. So kind of 2 Team Extreme trucks having a couple little moments there for just a brief second. But now it looks like everything gathers up. But right there to the top, there goes the 7. He's going to hop up here. And as I say, going to get the push from Charles Johnson. Charles has other ideas. He's going to drop low, see if he tries to jump around and then back to the top in that 9 truck. Right now, these guys look like they just want to push and they want to lead. And then we haven't mentioned fuel strategy type, Max. We'll believe it's going to be, again, pretty much right on the 3-stop strategy number. These trucks probably can go about that 22, I want to say, laps or so on the fuel numbers, which should put them in that 3-stop window. Don't see anybody stretching a 2-stopper with these trucks. Just a little bigger, a little boxier, a lot more drag than those Xfinity cars we see on Sunday nights. So expect to see 3 stops from these drivers here this evening.
Absolutely. Since we've changed it from 75 to 78 laps, it kind of takes, I don't want to say it takes the pit equation out of it, but if it goes completely green flag, it's very simple. You want to run these trucks as long as you possibly can and save as much fuel as you possibly can each run so that the very last stop, you're taking the least amount of fuel. That's when it's going to matter. That's when you're going to be able to gain positions, whether you're 2 or 3 seconds different on pit road and how much fuel you're having to put in. So definitely going to watch these guys, probably try to make it as long as possible. And we heard a lot of discussion amongst some of these drivers in practice, knowing it was a smaller field here, that this race could easily go green flag, green to green. They knew who they were racing around. They trusted the drivers in this field, and they really thought they could go all 78 laps without a yellow. So if that's the case, then guys like Gabe Butler and Gary Jenkins back there led early, got those bonus points, and dropped back. They're trying to save fuel. They've got a fuel number they want to hit. They know how they want that last pit stop to be, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that happens.
Yeah, and that's exactly the strategy there, Maxwell. Yeah, you're right. Get the bonus points you want, knock it out early. Of course, the one thing they don't get right now is the potential for the bonus point for the most laps led. However, I think that's that risk versus reward strategy. And like you mentioned, though, if we go flag to flag here, the way it looks is if you kind of divide the 78 laps up in 3 parts, it's going to be 19.5. So basically, you need to go at least at one stint to 20 laps, and then you could probably get away with a 19 for one of those 2. So obviously, you're not going to be able to pit halfway through the lap. So look for these drivers to try to get to lap number 20 as the magic marker for when to hit pit road. But once again, here comes that 3rd lane, and once again, TW here. The 55, Dean Wilkinson, the 59 of Jay Hilliard, making a great charge on that 3rd lane. And just saw creeping the picture, looked like was tempted about it, had decided not to yet, is that 99 of Robert Duvendak. And Robert's one that I really think hasn't been able to show what he's going to be capable of, because he's been up front from the race number 1, just has not had the luck yet this season. So Robert's one of those dark horses that I definitely will be keeping an eye on, that isn't one of the big name teams, if you will, here, as again still new to the league and new to the series a little bit. Also working with him is the 69 of Guy Bracco, and actually those two have locked on and found each other in that middle lane there. So we got a couple teammates hooked up together here in the middle, and then I said, but right now I'd say it's pretty much a Team Extreme kind of controlled race right here with the 411, the 7 right there, and then not too far back that 33 of David Bond in that Skull truck as well, right behind Derek Walker in the 20.
Absolutely great action all over the place. And Gael, we both know I'm trying my best to learn how to work some of this behind the scenes stuff and play with some of these cameras, and I couldn't help myself earlier but to go with that 411 of Tom Dixon, our leader. You want to see a traffic jam, folks? Look at the rear camera here that we can have with Tom Dixon, and look at how much these trucks are moving around, how fast they are, how much they're really moving in this pack. It's like rush hour on steroids, right? Look at the big runs we see through the middle here, and just look at how much these guys really snake around, peek those noses out to keep temperatures cool, and just look at if Tom Dixon just slips up even one little bit. Look at how many hungry hounds will be right there to chase him down. Isn't this a view, Gael?
Yeah, so this is the view you probably like to see right now. it's a view you get very nervous about later on in the race for sure, because you're like, okay, where am I going to need to try to block that momentum of those guys around you? Which I'll say, what the 411 would love to see at the end of the race is him exactly where he is up front, but with that 7 or the 33 right on his rear bumper there, being his wingman, if you will, to help him kind of try to control the lead and hold on to the wind of this race. So we're still not there. We got lots of racing to go, but we do have is we're starting to get a little bit of separation right now. Dan Harrington, he's in the 82. He's kind of in the last truck in this main pack here right now. Right in front of him, you got the 07 there of Robert Dupont, the 6 of Bud Steele there. They've all kind of just settled in. Then you got to drop about a half a second here to pick up Eric Laurie. Drop another half a second again to pick up that 90 of Gary Jenkins. And then you get to Matt Wagner there. Robert Jordan's in this mix. And then Gabe, JD, and Bob Fitzgerald. So they're okay. They're still in the draft here. But again, I never like falling that far back at times. Because again, I feel like you then have to use up extra fuel to chase them back down again. Build that draft back up. But once again, though, we got teammates working that third lane here. TW locked on here. The 55, 59, 171. They were once again getting towards the front here as we're starting to get to lap number 15 here, Maxwell, which means, again, fuel window going to be opening in about 5 laps. We're going to see a very, very busy pit road with about 21 trucks, probably over the span of 1 or 2 laps.
Absolutely. And, Guile, as we're looking at this front pack here, something very interesting to me, and I know it's the shorter distance, but have you noticed the power in this bottom lane to really hold the lead? Normally the second and third lane gets so much momentum in these trucks, and the side draft is so great that the bottom lane really gets pinched and drug back, and they're kind of at the mercy of the 2 lanes above them. But even when they've been 3x3x3 for the lead, this bottom lane has prevailed and pushed ahead every single time. And even now we see some of these TW guys in the third lane kind of regrouping and falling back here to get in that second lane. I don't know if that's just a power in numbers thing or if we're seeing a little bit of shift in how these guys play these draft races. Maybe the bottom is where you want to be, but I would have thought that third lane would have easily been able to get enough steam, even with 3 trucks to power around. But the bottom lane showing a lot of strength tonight, Guile.
Yeah, so far you're right. It's been definitely a bottom-feeding race thus far. But I do think we're also seeing a little bit is I don't think the second and third lanes have been as pushed or as organized in their push as the inside is. Because you can see right here the 14, the 9, they're just right on the bumper. When they're not pushing, they're still within a foot or 2 of each other. And it's not just about the first 2 trucks. That third truck right now, Charles Johnson, he is instrumental in how much momentum that line continues to push forward. And so we saw for a little bit there, the second line, they had a gap apart with one of them. And as I said, though, that gap is pretty much, it's gone momentarily. But yeah, right now that second lane, though, Maxwell is gone here right now. Robert Duvendak, he's kind of a lonely driver here, probably trying to see if he can fall back just a little bit to fall in front of his teammate there of Guy Bracco. Waiting to see, but right now he said, you know what, I'm going to stay in the second lane, and Guy said, yeah, you know what, let's go with you here, as those 2 trucks going to jump to the outside, maybe try to gain some track position here before that first green flag pit stop.
And honestly, I like this strategy, Guile. You get everybody single file on the bottom. It's still 3 more laps until we expect to see these guys on pit road. If you have saved a little bit of fuel from the beginning while these other guys have really burned it up, then this is a great time to get a little bit of track position and see if you can slot in 4 or 5 cars farther up in the line than you were. Because the farther back you are in a single file line trying to come to pit road, the harder it's going to be to keep the draft, and the more crucial your pit into your box and pit out are going to be. If you're up here at the front and you make a little mistake, you've got plenty of trucks that are coming in behind you that you can still blend in with. If you're at the back and you make a mistake, you could easily lose this lead draft, and the rest of your race will be playing catch up. And if it goes green, could even result in you going a lap down. So I like the strategy of the 99 and the 69 here, trying to work their way up through this pack to see if they can slot in a little better spot here.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way I kind of have my train of thought as well, Maxwell, is just basically I try to save early, and then, like I said, once it's about pit time around, again, like at this point now, again, this next lap or 2, because we're coming across start lap 19 now, this is when I try to make my big charge and say, okay, I've saved fuel, now we're going to make that big push. And like I said, because right now, if you pit from the back, you're pitting almost 3 seconds behind our leader, and that's exactly what you said. It puts you at so much risk of just any little mistake is just going to be that much more magnified. So For the 9969, the risk that they are taking, of course, is if they get trapped on the outside when they have to hit pit road, they're going to have to try to find a way to kind of force their way in or squeeze their way in to find a way to hit pit road here, as they're going to work around that 24 there of Jason Adams. It looks like hopefully the hardware issues resolved out of the 24 truck. Unfortunately, 13 laps back down, but love the commitment for him, as here comes some of those Team Extreme drivers. They're going to hit pit road together along with Charles Johnson. We're going to have a pretty solid group here. Looks like about 8 to 10 trucks here hitting pit road.
Absolutely. Coming a little bit earlier than I would like to see. I think this makes their fuel window really tight, but a lot of these guys really ran up front and really ran hard here at the start. But really watching this second pack here, as they're still side by side, the 99 and the 69 still in the outer lanes. It's going to be interesting to see if this group can come down and be a little bit more organized and maybe prey on any of the mistakes that first group might have made here coming into pit road. But you see them all finally funneling into this bottom lane. I believe every single truck out here but that 24 of Jason Adams will be down pit road this time, and they have got to maximize entry and maximize exit if this group wants to swap around and be the leaders. But here they come, Gael.
Yeah, very busy pit road here. As you see, Vicente is going to lead the field on, and it's exactly like you said. It's the entire second pack here again. So one lap, you got everybody on pit road. Again, looks like everybody so far so good, able to all enter pit road cleanly. Now the next step is getting onto their pit stalls, because your job isn't done yet. You got to have a clean pit stall. You can see everybody trying to separate from each other, make sure nobody hits each other entering their pit stalls, and that's why you see some drivers jump into the pit stalls a little early just to avoid any drama, and so far so good for them. So we'll keep an eye, because right now, the 90 overshoots the pit stall. This is going to really hurt the Gary here, but now we're going to watch this second pack, because as those drivers leave pit road, you got Charles Johnson, Bud Steele, and then you got the 411 Tom Dixon and Robert Jordan now leading this first pack that had pitted, along with James Mohan and David Bond. So we'll see how they all cycle out, because right now they're good first one by there. That's going to probably cost him the draft, I would suspect, unless others are back there. There's the 99 they're going around already, Robert Duvendak. Here comes the 5 of J.D. Crow. But you can see, though, I think Robert Rock here, I think he's going to net as the winner off of pit road. But let's go back to that rear camera, because we're going to see a very quickly charging Charles Johnson here as they head down the back.
Absolutely. These guys definitely charging hard, trying to make as much time as they can here, and really trying to make sure that they keep this gap big. But as these others start getting these big runs and starting to catch, you're going to see big movements get made here. It's definitely going to be interesting to watch. And you see them peeking out there on the outside. The 9 of Charles Johnson, we talked about his aggression earlier, wasting no time. But with the big run they have, him and Bud Steele in the 6 are going to just rocket up here and try to contend for the lead of this race.
Yeah, they've been able to get to the 171. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to clear the 171, though. So great job by that second group hitting pit road, namely the 171, the 14, and the 55, all hanging right in the main pack there. So right now, again, these guys are all just one lap apart from one another. Looking at pit stop time, looks like we did have one driver get nabbed by the speeding police. That's going to be Bob Fitzgerald, unfortunately, who had to sit for 44 seconds on pit road. Always an agonizing one when that happens. But we also do have, as well, is that the pit stops, we've separated the field by now only 15 on this lead pack, from the 171 of Robert Rock back to the 11 of Matt Wagner. And then, unfortunately, got to start going to 10 seconds plus back here to the 99 of Robert Duvendak, who's just waiting for help here, which he's going to get soon. But again, it's going to be the 20 of Derek Walker, the 90 of Gary Jenkins, and the 69 of Guy Bracco. And we saw that mistake by the 90, overshoot his pit stall, had to back it up. That's what's killing him. And what's really hurting them right now, Maxwell, is they are not getting organized here. They're staying side by side. Someone's got to give here, and they just need to get lined up here, because the way they're running with only 3 cars, or trucks, I should say, they're only slowing down right now. So now it looks like they finally get things situated here. The 20 is going to clear, the 90 is going to clear, and they'll chase down that 99. Then they'll have a 4-truck draft. But again, right now, I think advantage definitely is going to this front pack. And while we jump back up there, Dean Wilkinson said, you know what? I'm going to try to lead this outside line now in front of Charles Johnson. So you got TW on the outside, TW on the low. So that things are looking good for those drivers. Like you said, very aggressive early on, and right now definitely working out in their favor.
Absolutely, and this 55 is racing so hard, but he's got a teammate that's led a lap. He's definitely wanting to get up here and take full advantage of that. We know the kind of championship contender we have in Dean Wilkinson in the 55. He wants to get up here and see if he can lead a lap and at least get a bonus point to kind of work his way in. I hate to say it, but it's almost like we're racing for a battle for second in points right now. I think everyone else should be fairly tight, fairly close here. But for the one of Gabe Butler, he's on a Sunday cruise. He's just here to help teammates and for the rest of this regular season before the playoffs. But the 55 definitely got a lot to show and a lot to prove, and he just might get that lap led right here at the line.
Yeah, I believe Dean Wilkinson does lead that lap in the number 55 there, so bonus point goes to Dean. And like we said, those are very, very important over the course of the season. And so, yeah, so right now, like I said, you got 2x2 for about 5 rows deep here. And then you get back to the one of Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, J.D. Crow, Matt Wagner. They're just kind of on cruise control here, kind of like what we're used to seeing. They get that lap lead, they're just going to back it down, kind of just stay just in safety range here. About that 4/10 it looks like off of David Bond. But definitely not in any danger of losing the pack as they run here. And then also Robert Jordan right there in that 74. So yeah, so right now we've got a kind of a mixed bag of drivers. We got pretty much, I think they got the whole TW crew. We've got, unfortunately, all but one of the boot knockers with the 90 losing that pack. You got the 14 still and the 11 Matt Wagner, those two working together. And then you've also got a couple of the bad company drivers of Charles Johnson, Bud Steele. And then you have all of the Team Extreme as well, 411, 7, and 33 all lined up together here. So still a lot of teammates here to work with. The one odd man out, though, I think is probably Dan Harrington, unfortunately. He is working with Derek Walker. Unfortunately, we mentioned, though, Derek losing that main pack. So right now, Dan's just got to try to find, at this point, I think, do what he's doing here. Just save fuel and then put yourself in a better spot later on in this race. Because you can see, look out the backstretch. That second pack was nowhere to be seen because now they're coming out of turn number 2. They are right now running about 2 seconds a lap slower than our leaders. So they're going to have to find some way to gain a little bit of speed because right now they're going to wind up getting lapped here over the probably next fuel run or two.
Absolutely, but Gael, I can't help but see this. Don't get to focus on this too often, but as again I'll point out and I'll stop saying is I'm learning the ropes here with you, Gael. I'm fascinated by some of the camera views that we have around this track, just to get a raw sense of speed that these trucks are making. There is a camera here that we have, the Crank It Up camera, and man, just to see the camera sometimes shake, rattle, and roll here as these trucks race 2x2 down these straightaways. These trucks just rocket into these corners, and it's just amazing to see the sense of speed these guys are making in these trucks when you have such a static camera such as that to look at. But definitely got these guys still running side by side. They are wanting to race this out. Charles Johnson battling with Robert Rock here for the lead, swapping it back and forth, it seems, each and every lap. But definitely looking at the halfway point of our run here, especially for our front runners. Remember, they pitted on 19 coming to 20, not 20 coming to 21. So starting to get to that halfway mark. And like you said, a few lap trucks up here, they'll gain before the next pit stops. So these next pit stops, Gael, are going to be even more crucial than the last. Going to definitely have to keep an eye on that and see how these drivers handle it. They know that some of them made some mistakes this last time. Will any more drop off? Because the more trucks that drop off of this pack as this race goes on, the harder it's going to be to get runs and make the pass for the win.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I was saying, let's take advantage of that, Maxwell. I'm sure you guys love hearing our voices, but we'll give you a break from us, and we'll listen to these trucks and just let them kind of do what they do best as they start to catch some traffic here. So we'll do that. We'll crank it up here and let you guys listen to these trucks here going around Talladega. Is a lap of Talladega, like I said, at speed, Maxwell. with these guys going that 180, 190 here at these trucks. I say, and once you get that in 3x3, it's a whole different feeling as well. But right now, these guys kind of playing it calm here. Like I said, definitely some fuel strategy going on for these guys as they continue on here. Like you mentioned, though, just about that halfway point on this fuel run. So again, expect to see these guys come in probably around lap 38, 39, 40 range. What I do think we'll see this time around, Maxwell, though, is I think we will see more than one lap separation of pit stops because, like I said, right now there's been a lot of domination up front by that 171 and the 9. That leads me to think they're going to probably have to be the first ones to hit pit road, but I'm watching that second pack there. They're just hiding just a little bit back as you see Charles Johnson take the point once more in that 9 truck. I'm watching Gabe Butler, JD Crow, Eric Laurie, Matt Wagner. I think they've got their trucks dialed back just a little bit here, trying to save every drop of fuel. Again, they did pit at 20 compared to some of these guys at 19, but they've also been pretty much keeping it back down from then on. Some of the other drivers to watch, I think, will be Vicente Guerrero, also pitting at 20. And really the one I think that's been really in a good spot for fuel mileage has been that 82 of Dan Harrington. Just been kind of just sitting nice and calm here in that bottom lane. And also pitting at 20, so watch for Dan. Maybe he can go as far as the boot knockers, but I think we're going to see probably at least one set of trucks here try to go 2 laps further at least than that first set of trucks that hit pit road, probably around, again, lap 38, 39 range.
Absolutely. These guys playing their games, they've got their fuel numbers, and without a caution, this is what they have to do. They have a strategy coming in at the start. And folks at home, don't get it wrong. These guys have a plan. They've planned it before the race starts. They know what their plan is if it goes green, and they know how to change their plans on the fly if we get a caution right in the middle of a run that really mixes everything up. But now that we talk about it, Gael, the third lane really starting to rock. I saw these TW guys trying to move up. And notice how much momentum these 2 trucks can make on their own when they don't have a lot of guys in front of them, especially when it's not as big of a pack as we might be used to seeing here. But I don't know. The only problem with the 2 trucks is how long can they sustain this? How long can they make this work? It's good for a lap or 2 with just 2 trucks, but eventually once you stall out, you really see the power in numbers here as the middle lane tries to surge ahead, but still gets a lap led.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. As we've seen it a couple times, that third lane, they get to the front row, and then they stall out, and then they fall back a couple of tenths. And is that because maybe Dean Wilkinson's getting a little bit hot and he has to back it down? Or, like you said, is it just they're able to steal a little bit of draft, a little bit of side draft from those middle lane trucks, but then once you get up to that number 6 of Bud Steele, you kind of get into all that wake of air that everybody else is having to fight. So, and that's what we see. Again, they surge to just about getting there. You see these guys are starting to get a little antsy. Once again, a little bit of side to side there as Bud Steele just clears his teammate there of Charles Johnson. That was close between those 2 bad company teammates there. Which now this will be interesting though, Maxwell. This opens up the door. Now Team Extreme, they can flex their muscle here because they've got control of the middle lane. All 3 of their drivers lined up, and I would watch to see if they can make a big charge here to the front. This is what they've probably been waiting for. Said, all right, we got control of it. Let's go here. As you can see, already got their nose up alongside that 6 truck, but haven't been able to clear yet. But watch for Tom Dixon, James Mohan, and David Bond to make that big charge here.
Absolutely. And, I kind of thought I understood what the 6 was doing. They're pulling down in front of the 9 to try to get with his teammate. But as soon as he pulled down, is it bad that my first thought was that was a mistake? These Team Extreme guys, they have been new to the sport, or at least to the league here. Last season ran a little bit, and this season running full time. But I tell you, when I see these 2 trucks get together, they can push just as well as Team Bootknocker and TW, 2 of the best working teams out there. But it's like Team Extreme needs 1 or 2 more drivers to dedicate to them to really make the strategies they want work. If they could get even 1 more driver, I think it greatly increases their chances of winning some of these races. But definitely got the speed, and even when they move, they're following each other, right? They're staying tucked up nice and tight while still managing the air, and it's just enough, it looks like, to get the 411 clear on the bottom, and they probably move down to give the 7 some air. Wouldn't shock me a bit to see the 411, since he's led a few laps, let the 7 drop down in front of him, and they be lined up and take that bottom lane as we are approaching the 5-lap mark of seeing pit stops yet again.
Yeah, and I also saw as soon as the opening opened for Robert Rock in the 171, he jumped straight to the top to get to his TW teammates as well. And I was about to mention for Bud Steele, maybe when he got to the bottom in front of Charles Johnson, it also gives Charles a little bit of a reprieve, lets him save a little bit of fuel because he'd been leading that inside line for a long time there, so it kind of lets Charles back down his fuel mileage a little bit. But you're right, though, that great push from the 7 and the 33 got the 411 to the front. I'll say now the question is, can the 411 find a way to repay the favor to try to get his teammates up in this inside line before the pit stops open? The trick is, of course, you can only back it down so much because at that 411, if he tries to back his pace down to try to let his teammates sneak in, I mean, there's a good chance he's going to get run over because if you're Bud Steele, you're not expecting to drop 5-10 miles an hour possibly. And again, I'm not implying that that's what the plan is. And you can see it's all far from it because they've actually started to separate themselves a couple of truck lengths over those two on the middle lane. So yeah, right now things look great for Tom Dixon. Of course, at some point his teammates are going to have to try to get organized here and find somewhere to slot in line. But right now, the big move by Jay Hilliard. They're sneaking in front of Dean Wilkinson. But yeah, these guys, I think, again, like you said, Maxwell, they're getting ready for those pit stops. Everybody's starting to creep down to the bottom. So this is where I'm going to start to kind of watch with my, kind of go a little bit cross-eyed maybe, watch that one truck of Gabe Butler and then Eric Laurie, JD Crow, Matt Wagner. I suspect we're going to see them jump to this top side here pretty shortly. Because like I said, I think they're going to go at least one, almost maybe even 2 laps later than the first trucks to hit pit road here, probably in the next lap or 2.
And you know, Gael, the problem is with as small of a pack as we have, your strength is going to be in numbers with pit road, believe it or not. So these guys may want to do that, but they may be in a box. If all this pack comes but those 4, then I think they have to pit the very next lap. Because if they stay out the 2 laps, that's time on track they're giving up in a smaller pack where they're not making lap time. It is a fine balance in saving fuel when you're in the big pack because you always have the suck up, you're still making lap time, right? But then if you're out by yourself in a pack of 4, you're burning more fuel and still not making the lap time you need, and in the long run, it's just going to be a deficit. So if they do stay out, I think it's only 4 a lap. But we see Matt Wagner trying to make something happen, maybe get up ahead of Gabe Butler, but it looks like Gabe's not going to play that game, and Matt's probably going to find himself slowly drifting back to the very back of this pack, which is not where I would want to be coming into green flag pit stops.
Yeah, so you see, he wasn't able to get the momentum he needed. He probably felt like that pack was backing it down too much for his comfort, so I'm going to try to get a spot or 2. But yeah, I say his best chances if he can slot in here, but I think that hole's going to fill too soon. I was watching JD Crow, and yeah, he's not going to be able to make that. And so yeah, right now it's just kind of that ebb and flow. But what's happening, though, is Gabe is probably still able to stay part throttle on that one truck. Matt's probably having to mat this thing. So again, every little bit counts. So Matt's probably burning even more fuel as they do this. So but what we're going to do is we're going to kind of keep an eye on pit road here for our leaders and see if any takers. And yep, here they come. We got Team Extreme coming in, and it also looks like some of the other drivers as well. So here comes our starting pit stops.
Absolutely, and it almost looks like the pack split almost in half. We have, 7 trucks possibly coming down pit road here. So, 14, 15 in that lead pack, I would say maybe 17 or 18, something like that. But definitely the rest of these drivers are probably coming next time. That still puts them right at the 20-lap mark. But super important to get in your stalls here to make sure you do not slide too much. Noticing a lot of these teams not taking any tires at all, Gael. They are getting that fuel and that fuel only, and they are starting to pull off of pit road as we speak. As we see the 14 of Vicente Guerrero coming around here to see if he brings this pack in this time. I would be shocked if they don't. Watch for him to turn off here, and here comes the rest of them. I believe Bootknocker is going to stay out that extra lap. Wow.
I like the strategy, honestly, and it just, like I said, just depends on what their lap times are now. But yeah, you've got pretty much the whole field here. All of TW's on pit road. You got Dan Harrington, Matt Wagner also on pit road, and also the 07 of Robert DuPont hitting pit road with them. So we'll see how it cycles through, but right now this is where Bootknocker, this is where this can make or break their strategy. They got to push for all they're worth, and I'm saying if there's a team that can do it, it's this team right here. So this is going to be fun to see because this gives them a little bit of leeway here, Maxwell. They'll be able to feel a little bit more confident going into that final scheduled pit stop here, again, in about another 20 laps. So I like the strategy. This is probably the strategy I would be taking as well. And of course, with the small pack here, they can really hustle these trucks onto pit road. Like I said, these guys kind of make a habit of this. And there's the big split. You see one go way to the bottom, one to the top, one to the middle. And it looks like they're all going to meet right in the middle there. So great job. Now it's all about getting onto their pit stalls. And then we'll see what that gap looks like between these guys. So we'll jump back up front, though. Because look at this. Dean Wilkinson, Vicente Guerrero. They have been able to hold on to this lead here. As again, here's that second pack. We talked about the momentum shift. Tom Dixon, he's got the help from Bud Steele. Once again, they're going to get right alongside, but this time a little bit more momentum. I think Tom Dixon is going to lead this race out of 4.
Absolutely. Just incredible run, though, by Tom Dixon here tonight. Really been flexing his muscle. And Guile, I don't know the stats on who's got the most laps led currently, but it's got to be close for that 411 out of the rest of this field of leading the most laps. He has been up front all race long and really trying to control. And now let's see where Team Bootknocker falls in. They are still in the turn as this big pack comes, and this is the big worry. And maybe the 5 there might not have gotten the best pit stop. He's going to be begging to try to hang on to this lead draft. But Gabe Butler and them look like they're going to make it into this pack okay. And because they made it into the pack, they are now in the catbird seat coming to this final pit stop. And you know they can actually short pit the next one. They can come in as soon as the window opens, and then instead of just, they can top the fuel tank off to full, and all they're worried about is the least amount of fuel going in it. So definitely don't have to wait as long as they have to anymore. As soon as the window opens, they'll have 2 or 3 laps less fuel than some of our leaders.
Yeah, so I'm looking to see what was trying to look at the pit stop times and everything. JD Crow is starting to catch up to these guys. I think we're seeing is these guys are dropping back just enough here to try to pick up the 5 truck, but not lose the 11 truck of Gabe Butler. So to say they're trying to play that margin. That being said, though, actually Gabe is now about a second, 1.1 tenths off of Matt Wagner now in the 11 truck. So this is the risk versus reward. They said, all right, you know what? We're going to live and die as a team here. We're going to back it down. We're going to pick JD up, and then we're going to charge like hell to try to catch back up to that front pack. So we'll see. Again, wouldn't be a surprise to see them do it, but they will have to burn a lot of fuel once again here to try to catch back up to that main pack. So we'll keep an eye and see. So right now, as a whole, looks like if those 3 Bootknockers can get lined back up and get back into this draft, we will have lost none of those top 15 here. As it runs, yeah, it looks like we've lost the 3 of them to bring it to 12, but I'm already watching the ticker start to go back the right way for that 1 truck to the 11 truck. So give another lap. I'll watch the lap times right now. We'll see what that lap time is now that they've reassembled there with that 1, the 5, and the 071.
Absolutely, but you know, JD might have just had a hiccup on his pit stop, may have just overslid it just a little bit. Not 100% sure, but what we do know is we talked about it, right? They were out there at 3 trucks by themselves. You lose a lot of time that way. And I truly believe the only way Gabe Butler and them got into the pack like they did was their pit road entry had to have been a lot more aggressive than some of these other drivers. I mean, I saw those trucks wiggling trying to get woed up. But you can do that when you know you ain't got 5 or 6 trucks in front of you trying to cautiously make it, right? So, looks like they have caught back up to this pack fairly easy. Teammates knowing exactly how to push to maximize that speed. But they did burn a little bit of their fuel advantage. They're trying to do that. So, now they're going to try to ride it out right here at the back and see if they can't recoup some of that lost fuel they had to burn, but at least they had some to burn, right? But definitely fortunate on their end to be able to catch this pack because that risk almost turned into a race-losing situation for these guys. Yeah,
it was definitely really touch and go for a little bit, but yeah, I have a feeling they probably had no doubt in their mind they could catch back up with the 3 of them. And I say in doing so too, Eric Laurie ran the fastest lap of the race with the 50:34 while they were catching back up to the field and looking around this time by, and it looks like pretty much they backed it down right on pace with the leaders again. So also peeking in the chat here is our buddy Chris Matthews. So he said, yeah, definitely just you need a little bit of help, and hoping we're doing well. Definitely are. Hope you're doing well also. So he's got a gamble going on here, or for if the 1 wins again, he will do 30 push-ups out of that Chris Matthews. So he's hoping for no push-ups. So I say that's the that's the wager for that number. Well, the number 92 when he runs on Tuesday night with the Indy cars here soon. That's the wager from Chris Matthews, one of our broadcasters here. Is if that one wins, 30 push-ups. Although, Chris, I'm going to say if he wins, that's 4 in a row this season to start it up. So I'm going to say maybe it should be 40 push-ups, 10 per win if he can go 4 in a row.
And you know what I think too, Gael? We have a great couple of minutes that we start the broadcast each and every week. If Gabe Butler wins again and Chris does do these push-ups, I think we need a video sent to Green White Checker TV that we have to air at the start of the next event so the fans can see that he's a man of his word, right? So come on, Chris, if the one wins, come on, hold up that end of the deal. We'll get the fans in on this too, to where they can kind of have a good laugh and kind of have all kinds of good fun with us here at Green White Checker.
Yeah, I know Chris well. He'll definitely be one to hold himself accountable. So, but right now up front still is the 411 Tom Dixon, 6 of Bud Steele. Bud's got his teammate right behind him of the 9 of Charles Johnson. However, Tom Dixon, he's kind of gotten separated just a little bit from his Team Extreme teammates, but they're right there again. That 33 and the 7, right there. TW Motorsports all right there as well. So, like I said, it's a little deceiving right now. It's like, okay, it's been all these guys. They're kind of in the catbird seat, if you will. But I just think, again, I watch these guys. I watch now Robert Jordan. He's kind of backed his pace down just a little bit as well, because he was actually one of the drivers that pitted at 39. Those are the ones I worry a little bit about, which are also these two right now leading. So right now, Bud Steele and Tom Dixon, they're going to be by far the earliest ones that have to hit pit road for that, in theory, final scheduled stop. But again, they're going to have no leeway for potentials for Green White Checkers, because this time around, Maxwell, we're going to be at 30 to go, which again, that means that pit road window to get to the end is going to probably open in about 10 more laps. So it's going to be right on the number. But what we're about to do here, Maxwell, look at this here. They're about to catch those 4 trucks we mentioned that missed their first pit stop and kind of lost the pack. They're about to get lapped here in probably the next 2 to 3 laps here. And that's just how much the pace has been from this lead pack here with Tom Dixon, Dean Wilkinson, Bud Steele. Just great job. Unfortunately, these guys are trying to work together, but you got 4 trucks versus about, 16, 15 trucks. As I say, my 4-legged commentary partner's trying to chime in here a little bit as well. I'm not sure what his input is there, but yeah, right now, though, this will get interesting. I suspect we'll see those 4 just jump to the top. But then what you're going to have is you're going to have an all-out brawl basically for who's going to be the lucky dog in this race, because everybody's going to want to have it. And right now, Robert DuPont actually is the first car one down in the 20th spot, but he's a ways back in the field, so might see Robert get a little aggressive just to make sure that he can stay in front of those other guys like Derek Walker, Robert Duvendak, Guy Bracco, and Gary Jenkins. So there's going to be kind of a race within a race here very, very shortly.
Absolutely. You know, these guys, their one hope is that they can hold on just long enough to maybe make it to these pit stops one last time and see if they can't get a stellar pit stop. Or really what they're praying for is these guys in the back to get really, really, really racy and to cause our first caution of the evening. That way they can swoop right on around and stay on this lead lap. But if these 4 go a lap down, I don't think they will work very nicely anymore. They will be fighting tooth and nail to be the first car 1 lap down in the pack. But definitely a torrent pace being set here by that 411 of Tom Dixon. And, you know, we haven't talked about him much tonight, but they're in third. Vicente Guerrero, right? He has just silently been here. And I say silently because typically he's the one aggressively pushing and trying to make things happen all on his own. And we even saw it with Kevin Freese a couple weeks ago where he tried to go for the win and about beat the back bumper off before he spun Kevin Freese into the infield there coming to the checkers. But quietly been here tonight and not been super aggressive, but just been a great partner most of this race. But after these last pit stops, I'm really waiting to see who's going to dice it up, mix it up, and take us to the checkered flag tonight, because that 14 has been up front. He's stayed in position. Maybe he's earned some respect on that track tonight and might find somebody helping push him to a win this season.
Yeah, so we'll do right now. We got a moment here. Let's run through the field on Maxwell, because let's say Tom Dixon's kind of channeling his inner Dale Jr. and just leading this field through a single file train around here at Talladega. Usually it's up against the wall in the Cup Series, but he's going to run the yellow line here at Talladega. And see, there goes those lap trucks. They're going to jump to the top again, the respect we talked about, as Tom Dixon around our leader, +3 from his starting position. Right behind him, the 55 of Dean Wilkinson, currently +10 from where he started in that second spot. Then you got, we mentioned Vicente Guerrero there sitting in third. Bud Steele right behind in fourth, in that sixth with his teammate of Charles Johnson right there in fifth. So got good spots for their teammates there. And then a couple of those Team Extreme drivers sitting right behind as well. Seventh position, you've got the sixth position, you've got 33 of David Bond. And then in seventh, you've got the number 7 of James Mohan there. Also, again, one of those Team Extreme drivers, so all right together there. And then you got a couple of TW Motorsports drivers here, 171 Robert Rock in 8th. 9th is Jay Hilliard in the number 59 TBM Motorsports Toyota Tundra. And then rounding out our top 10 is the number 82 of Dan Harrington there. Again, as the field's working around some of these lap traffic, this will get a little bit dicier. You can see the second lane starting to drift a little closer to those leaders, trying to kind of minimize that momentum loss. Talk about that lucky dog battle is going to come in here shortly. And we'll drop back, run through the rest of the field here shortly, though. The 11th position, the 74 of Robert Jordan, +10 from his starting grid. Matt Wagner in 12th. Then we get to those boot knockers right behind him. Gabe Butler in 13th. Eric Laurie in 14th. And then JD Crow rounding out our lead lap drivers in the 15th position in that number 5. So, and then we get to the lucky dog battle here right now, once again, Maxwell, because look at this. They got lapped, but look at how much pace they pick up, just the two of them, with just having just kind of that extra draft from these guys running 2x2 with Derek Walker, Robert Duvendak. So right now, Derek Walker's in the catbird seat for the lucky dog if a yellow were to come out, as long as he's not involved. And saying, obviously, Robert Duvendak doing everything he can to try to maybe push that 20 truck clear of the 411, but right now nothing doing so. Unfortunately for the 99, the 69, the 07, and the 90, they're all on the outside looking in if a yellow were to come out. So again, we talked about that race within a race, but right now, I say these guys are just very content to let Tom Dixon kind of just do the legwork right now, lead the field, burn the fuel, as we're going to come across here this time around. 24 to go. Pit stops very, very shortly for our final time tonight.
Absolutely, just 5 more circuits around, and we'll see a lot of guys diving to pit road, but you may see some stay out until 18 to go, possibly, if they've saved enough, 17 to go. And you want to know why that would be, Gael? Because that would be for green-white checkered territory. We've stayed green so long, but all it takes is one caution to completely change this race and get us into green-white checkered territories, right? So some of these guys may wait the extra lap or two just to make sure they've got enough fuel to make it to the end. But lap cars here in this outside lane, they're not thinking that. They're thinking if we can race our way back onto the lead lap and stay in front of this 411, then if a caution comes out, we don't have to be the lucky dog. We can start right with the guys that we've got to start racing, and we can get right back into this. But definitely trying hard to do it, but just no strength up there because of the lack of numbers. Everybody on the bottom waiting for these pit stops, and everybody being kind of patient, Gael. I'm not used to using the words patient in a Area 51 Superspeedway truck race.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I say these guys, like I said, I feel like Tom Dixon will say probably feels like Dale Jr. right now, but right now though, that 99 though, he's doing a great job of getting Derek Walker as close to the lead as he can there to try to get him again, put him on the tail end of the lead lap. Because again, for Robert, it's in his best interest. If Derek can be the first truck or the tail end of the lead lap on the 20 truck, that would make the 99 truck the first car 1 lap down, almost get 2 for the price of 1 on laps back. But again, that's all depending on if and when the yellow were to fall. And the thing is, I mean, pit stop cycles is about when that could happen. Derek Walker, a great push here out of the trial into turn number 1, cannot quite clear that 411, unfortunately though. So we'll stay side by side. But yeah, pit stops I think could be the big potential of when trouble could happen. Because I mean, look at this right now. That 20, he is fighting hard. He's not just rolling over here. He wants to get that lap back, and he's going to fight hard. The inside line, they may not like it, but again, I mean, he's trying to save a chance at his race here, and you just never know if and when it could happen. So, but we're getting to that window very close. And once again, Derek's just tantalizingly close to clear that 411. Just couldn't do it though, and made the right call to stay up top of that 99.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for these lap cars fighting for their race and for their life in this event, we wouldn't have just a whole lot to be talking about right now, would we? All these lead lap trucks, single file, just snaking around the bottom, just like some old school racing. We're used to these guys being 3 wide from the green flag to the checkered flag, but definitely staying calm this run, which really makes me think once they get this fuel number and they get this last pit stop out of the way, that it's going to be all hands on deck and we're going to see some very intense racing. And Gael, I'm going to make a call right here, and I'm hoping that I'm not cursing anything, but this is just what... Ooh, as the 20 does exactly what I thought he would do. He just clears the bottom lane and makes sure that he stays on this lead lap. But the one thing I was going to say is I think we will have a yellow before this is all said and done. I don't see how these lead lap cars just race so calmly for the checkered flag, knowing that they're all ahead of the one of Gabe Butler. They're going to have to go for it, right? And when you go for it, that's when you might make some aggressive moves that you haven't made all race long.
Yeah, I think we're also going to see, I think pit road opens this time. I think we'll see probably for sure the 411. I think he has to hit pit road this time around. But what I want to see right now is I want to see somebody that's been saving fuel this whole run. Like I was saying, actually Matt Wagner is one of those that's doing exactly what I would be wanting to do right now. Get to the top here, make some time before that pit stop window, because I think there's going to be a big group of trucks hitting pit road this time around. So make the difference now. Get up there as far as you can before you hit pit road, because I think that was the potential issue with the boot knockers, was they're too far back. I mean, look at Matt here. He's got no help here, and he's already worked his way into the top 10 this just in this past lap alone. Yep, here they come onto pit road. I love what Matt Wagner did here, because now he's going to cycle in right behind the 14 of Vicente Guerrero, put him pretty much in third position. But here comes our pit road. Those are a little blah, 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 the 74 there, Robert Jordan. But again, Derek Walker leading him on pit road is tailing lead lap as they run. But then you've got the drivers here of actually Gabe Butler, surprisingly. He's on pit road here. Team Extreme on pit road. I didn't expect to see the one on as early as he is, but as he overshoots his pit stall, he's going to have to back it up.
Mistake.
Rare mistake.
That is what you could not do at the end here. Luckily, he is going to take less fuel, but any advantage he was going to have with the fuel number is now gone. That costly mistake on pit road. Luckily, with less fuel, instead of coming out in the lead, he will probably just come out with the pack. But, man, he's going to have to hustle, because that's a big mistake to make. But so many drivers were driving through the stall, and here comes the rest of the field, except for one lowly driver out there. Going to make it one more lap. That's going to really kill a lot of momentum for the 5 of JD Crow. But here come the rest of them. Wagner leading them down to make their final stops. Maybe they learn from Gabe Butler and don't make the same mistake.
Yeah, I'm very, very surprised to see JD continue on, especially on his own here. Not sure, just miscommunication or what, but that's all 3 boot knockers pitting at different laps here. So, yeah, but I mean, this is pretty much going to cost JD the draft, I think, without question. So we'll jump back up front, though, to our drivers that did pit, as right now Bud Steele, actually the best of those off of pit road, is actually I should say it was David Bond that was quickest off pit road, but was too good of a pit stop because he actually was off on his own, had no help to get back up there. So now put Bud Steele as the leader of those that just pitted the lap before. But here comes those drivers that just finished their pit stops, and this time it looks like it's going to be Robert Rock that's going to win the race off of pit road. And so we'll see now. And actually, long pit stop for Matt Wagner. I think maybe a mistake here. Probably 4 tires, I believe, on that 11 truck, because he was in pit road for 14 seconds. But is going to keep the draft here. So it's going to lose a little track position. But it's all to play for here now, though, Maxwell, because these guys are, you can see already 3x3 just trying to build that momentum up. It's about to get fun.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know that it matters much, but definitely got those 4 fresh tires where if he needs to get aggressive, he can. But look at this third lane. Some of these lappers really pushing hard the 6 of Bud Steele. He looks like he can rock it right to the lead. He's going to clear Vicente in the tri-oval. Looks to come low, is going to make that commitment. And now here comes the 20, still fighting for his race to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, you saw the 5 right there. JD Crow just rolling off a pit road, but it's going to be completely alone. The only semblance of help he might have is, unfortunately, Charles Johnson. Also, it looks like he had an issue on his pit stop. He is by himself. So the 5 and the 9, if they can get hooked up together, that'll help them a little bit. But they're going to need a caution at this point. And yeah, unfortunately, though, you see the 20, Derek Walker, trying to get that outside line to work, have fallen back a couple of spots in the row here, as Bud Steele leads Vicente Guerrero and Robert Rock currently our top 3 on the inside line. But don't sleep on that third lane, because here comes the 1, the 99, the 411, and give it a moment. I think that 33 is going to peak up there if he gets the chance.
Absolutely, that one of Gabe Butler coming through the field, and no one's going to look like try to stop him. If I'm Vicente Guerrero, I'm moving in front of that one, knowing he can't go anywhere, and I'm trying to block that momentum, but he is even going to stay down, waiting all the way to the end of the race, and here comes the one. Here comes Chris's 40 push-ups that he might have to do as Gabe Butler decides fuel save is over. It's time to race for the win. He said, none of these guys wrecked out. I've got to actually race with all these guys, and here's the 3 wide I talked about. Fuel save's over. It's time to go after the checkered flag, Gael. This should be a fun 16 laps.
Yeah, all the fuel saving is done. All the riding single file is done. These guys are going to be going for it tooth and nail. And right now, again, it's all split up here, though. That 99 truck on the outside there, Robert Duvendak, he's trying to get ahead of the 20 of Derek Walker, because that could be the lucky dog battle right now. Right now, I believe it's Derek that has it, but he's got Robert Duvendak's right there. He's got Robert DuPont right there in the 07 truck on the inside line. So all 3 lanes have a truck a lap or more down here. So it's everybody, you can see everybody's starting to get a little bit dicey here, a little more aggressive. You see the 20 actually, he's jumped up to the 3rd lane here. So right now, again, he still has the edge of the lucky dog, but right now that 07 actually is about to nose past the 20 truck. So it's all to play for here. We got Bad Company leading TW on the inside. You got Gabe Butler leading the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. As there goes Gabe, he clears the 6. He goes to the inside, allows Vicente to cool his truck. But look at Team Extreme. They're almost lined up here. We've got 2 of the 3. Look at Gabe. He's going to work both lanes now. He's already working how he's going to have to try to hold on to win this race. Oh, contact the back.
It's what we were waiting on. Here is going to be the yellow one on its lid on the front stretch, and the yellow flag is out. Big wreck on the front stretch, Gael. I hated to say it. I knew these guys were going to race really, really hard after the pit stops, and just lap trucks mixed in with lead lap trucks just equals chaos when you get down to under 15 to go.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's going to bring out the first yellow of the night here. That being said, I mean, we made it, about 70 laps here caution-free, so great job by all the drivers. But yeah, say it was towards the middle of the field where this caution comes out. So let's go back. We'll try to take a look to see where the contact occurs. We'll pick up the pace a little bit, jump back just a little too far here. And I think it was right around maybe the 59 and the 20. So I definitely saw Derek Walker involved. So we'll pause it right there. You already saw it there. I think that is the 411 of Tom Dixon, if I'm not mistaken. So let's back it up just a little bit better here. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, no, it's the 7 truck. So I got the wrong Team Extreme truck there. But watch the 7 here, that blue truck on the middle. And that truck just, does he get caught in the left rear? That truck makes an abrupt left there. And you see, tries to catch it. Unfortunately, Derek Walker, nothing he can do there. Same thing for that number 99 as well of Robert Duvendak. And then there's the 59 here of Jay Hilliard. Just gets hit right in the right rear, just flips up and over. And the 07 as well, Robert DuPont, he was actually looking like he could be the lucky dog in that whole situation. He gets involved in the incident. So at this point, I don't know who gets through cleanly to maybe get their lap back. This is going to be very interesting here. As you can see, the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald goes through the grass to avoid it. Matt Wagner quick on the brakes to avoid that wreck as well. So we'll jump back live here. Let's find out if we can find who that lucky dog will be here. So we're going to keep an eye on our leaders here. So we got a mixed strategy, though. Maxwell driver staying out with Gabe Butler, and Bud Steele, Vicente Guerrero, James Mohan and company on back, all hitting payroll. This is for damage for him. But who is our lucky dog in all of this? It looks like it might be the number 90, possibly, of Gary Jenkins, because he stayed out. We'll see if he makes the right turn and goes to around. Looking like, yep, there goes the 90. So 90 truck after all that. He wasn't even in this main pack there, I don't believe, but everybody else was involved in the incident. He gets the wave by. He gets back onto the lead lap. Great break for that number 90 truck here. As, again, we're going to have a late restart here, Maxwell, just outside of 10 to go.
Absolutely. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be intense, Gael. Might need to catch a breath and buckle up, because these last few laps, we're going to be on the loud button here, having to call this insane action in these trucks. They're going to be racing harder than they've raced probably all season long.
Yeah, exactly right. And so with that, let's go. Let's say before he has a chance to kind of catch too much of a breath, let's bug one of our broadcaster reporter tonight in that number 11 FedEx machine, or I'm sorry, Merc X machine of Matt Wagner. We hunt on Matt over here. We'll have a chat with him to see what he's thinking, because again, he's been going pretty well here. Made the great pit stop there. Looked like 4 tires on that pit stop there. That last green flag pit stop there, Matt.
Yeah.
By choice, I was gonna say by choice or by mistake, and that's what I had a feeling. And then it was so calm that most of this race, obviously being right on the fuel number to make it on a 3-stopper there. But then it seemed like once that last pit stop happened, everybody gets together, and I mean it was Talladega at its finest, 3x3, and so you were in a good spot to be able to kind of back it down, get around all of that incident here, and get back up into the top 10. So. I mean, what's been the biggest difference for you from the first part of the race to when this last caution came out? And what are you expecting for those final 10, 11 laps here?
I expect the aggression level to pick up about 5 notches. We experienced the first about 50, 60 laps. I like where I'm at, and me backing out of that little 3-wide action there. I think that ultimately putting me in a great position where I am. I'm going to find out where I'm going to line up here. I have no idea. Looks like...
I believe inside P9.
Inside line.
Yep.
So, I prefer the outside, but we'll see how it goes. I'm looking for my teammate here. Hopefully we can, either me or Vicente can get it in victory lane.
All right, well, good luck the rest of the way. You're a couple car lengths behind him, but so you can easily get hooked up here because we're going to have 11 to go on this restart. So good luck the rest of the way, Matt. And, yeah, it's going to be fun to watch.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, Maxwell. So you see these drivers saving fuel, though. Gabe Butler, Vicente Guerrero, the 33, David Bond, Eric Laurie, Matt Wagner. Anybody who's on the inside line is like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to take that apron. I'm going to save some fuel here. Again, these guys all pitted pretty late here, but to me this means they're banking on either enough cautions to be able to stretch it to green light checkers, or they think, you know what, I still think we're going to make it pretty much on regulation. So again, the big beneficiary though, Gary Jenkins back on the lead lap in that number 90, got some fuel and tires on that truck. He's going to roll back out in 16th position, but again on the lead lap. And then the Lucky Dog battle continues again. You got Robert DuPont, Guy Bracco, Robert Duvendek, Derek Walker. Those are going to be the ones going for that first truck 1 lap down. So we'll see here. It's all to play for. We're going to restart this thing out of 3 and 4 here. We're going to be down to 11 to go.
Absolutely, Guile. It's going to be intense. It's going to be insane. Gabe Butler always toward the end of these trying to save just as much fuel as possible. He's probably got enough, but it's just a little insurance here for him. But what I'm looking at is these guys are going to have to get up on the wheel and drive right around this one. You cannot help this guy win every single race of the season. That is not in your best interest. I know these guys are all friends. I know these guys all enjoy racing with each other, and it's fine to help. But when it comes to the end of the day, if you're going to be a successful race car driver, you've got to get greedy. You've got to be a little bit selfish. That is how you win these races. And Gabe Butler does exactly that toward the end of these. He gets selfish. So as the pace car comes in, we've got to see who is going to be selfish here tonight and try to get their first win of the season, or will Gabe get the 4th one in a row, and the green flag is back out in the air. Gabe Butler is taking us to that start-finish line for 11 laps to go. He gets the jump. Vicente Guerrero on his back bumper, but for how long, Gael, as these guys really start tandeming up going into turn 1?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. As where does momentum shift? You see JD Crow, actually, he's hopped to the top side in that number 5 truck here, so he's going to try to get that 3rd lane going early and often. That caution, a big break for the 5 truck, a big break for the 9 truck of Charles Johnson. They're right back in the thick of this thing as well, as right now you got 2 TW Motorsports lined up behind that 6 of Bud Steele. Then you get the 411 of Tom Dixon, and then again you see the 9 of Charles Johnson, another one of the Bad Company drivers, teammates of the 6 of Bud Steele. So right now, like I said, teams are pretty split up here, but yeah, pretty solid pusher though behind that 1 truck of Vicente Guerrero, and had a little bit of, it looks like a miscue on that restart. Had, I think, a truck possibly with some troubles getting up to speed there, and unfortunately it looks like it's cost some trouble for some drivers. Actually, Gary Jenkins, he's having to hit pit road unscheduled. That's a really heartbreaker for him, as he had just gotten back on the lead lap. Now has to come straight back to pit road. The 7 of James Mohan as well, so not sure what happened to those guys. However, up front though, here comes JD Crow. Again, he lost the draft here, as of the 9 of Charles Johnson. They're leading that third lane, trying to have at it here as we get to 10 to go.
Absolutely. I was just about to say the biggest beneficiary, you talked about the 90 getting on the lead lap. Forget that. JD Crow not having the season he wanted. We talked to him before the race, really struggling to get those finishes he knows he can get. Now here he is in a position with one of the more aggressive drivers in the race tonight, the 9 of Charles Johnson, pushing him, coming down the front stretch here. He wants to be selfish here tonight. He's got to be selfish here tonight. If he wants any hopes of getting in these playoffs, he has got to go after this win tonight, and that's exactly what he's doing in that third lane. He wants to go and put this 5 truck back in victory lane.
Yeah, so now it's all about that balance of pushing, but also keeping your temperatures in check. So you can only push so hard for so long before you're going to have to breathe those trucks just a little bit here. As again, you can see everybody starting to get a little bit wobbly. They're trying to stay locked onto that truck in front of you. That's where you see that weaving happen. But yeah, that 5, he's got a great push here, but won't clear the 6 of Bud Steele entering 3, so they'll stay 3x3, 4 rows deep, as you can see. Right now it's between Gabe Butler, Bud Steele, and JD Crow. But again, a lot can change here in these final laps. Is again, a little close there between the 171 and the 5. Everybody hangs on though, as we're getting down to it here. 8 to go at the line.
Absolutely, and honestly, all night long we've seen the bottom be the one with the advantage all night long. Hard to make passes on the outside, but now that they're all 4x4x4 and it's equal, you're really seeing the strength of this outside lane as the 07 gets a little bit loose there of Robert DuPont. But if this outside lane can keep it straight and keep tucked up, I think they can get this 5 the win here tonight. But the big thing is going to be no crazy moves. But what if the 6 here could possibly get clear of the 1? Does he come down and block that 1? Or is he worried the 1 tries to make a move on him toward the end of this thing and really make him lose a lot of spots? You almost want to stick to your lane, stick to these buddies pushing you right now. But man, Gael, that middle lane is getting really wiggly right now.
Yeah.
I can't call this. I don't know who is going to come out on top with these 3 lanes. They're so equal tonight.
Yeah, they're very, very equal right now in this last stint so far. And like you said, they're getting very tight in each other. I've been watching the 2nd and 3rd lane. They've been squeezing each other pretty hard here. They've been playing nice early, kind of staying 2 wide, or when they've been 3 wide, they've been giving each other plenty of room. But you can see, like you said, you can fit a 4th truck up there if you wanted to, because that's how much they're squeezing. And you asked the question, what would Gabe do? He's actually going to jump to the top here, pick up the 6 of Bud Steele, get a little bit extra shove here. Wonder if that's maybe a favorite of Vicente Guerrero, who maybe was getting hot in that 14, but we'll see if that comes back to bite, because with zero hesitation, Vicente right alongside that 1 truck of Gabe entering 3 here.
That is perfect news for Vicente Guerrero, and that 14 had so much speed all season long. It's just a matter of, can he get the pushes he needs? Obviously, the 1 felt like the 6 of Bud Steele would give him the push he needs, or maybe the 1's trying to partner up with the 5 here, but the 5's probably not going to have a whole lot to do with it because of how much of his season right now is on the line. But I've said it every week, when will the 14 win? It's looking good right now, as the middle lane has really got the most trucks, but just not the speed. I don't know if it's the side draft from the bottom and the top really pulling it back, but definitely I think either the bottom or the very top lane is where you want to be, and I think the one of Gabe Butler, believe it or not, I would say he might be in no man's land right now, but he's proven me wrong before, and he could easily do it again tonight. 3x3 coming out of 4.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's the question of, yeah, what's the right place to be in? Is it the inside line? Is it the middle? Is it the top? Everybody's got their preferences. I mean, obviously, the inside line, all you have to worry about is what's to the right of you. If you're on the outside line, you've got everything to your left. In the middle, you have to worry about both sides of you. But I feel like you also have a little less distance to have to travel than the 3rd lane. And so then you kind of try to keep that inside line pinched down a little bit, kind of slow their momentum down, and kind of get your 2nd lane, I should say, wound up. So to me, I feel like you do want to be leading the outside line or the middle lane, as you see right there. Gabe clears once again the 14, drops straight back to the inside here as he's trying to work both lanes as best he can, as JD Crow surges just a little bit ahead entering 3. Once again, though, the shorter distance is going to start prevailing through the turns. But yeah, Bud Steele had a split second, maybe could have cleared the 1 truck, but this is all the play for here. But the question, what you do is, what do you do here if you're the 82? I'm looking at Dan Harrington. He's the last truck on this lead lap, but I mean, where do you go? Like I said, you got Rush Hour in front of you.
Vicente's clear.
Oh,
He's
big
going to move up.
That's
Big move for Vicente Guerrero there in the 14, going to the middle lane. Told you he would not want to stick with that one of Gabe Butler. This is his season even on the line, and he really wants to put an exclamation point on that win. I didn't mean to interrupt there, Gael, but what a big move by the 14 with 4 to go.
Oh, no, that's a big move. That could be the race-winning move as well, like you said, because if he stays pinned behind the one truck, like you said, his options are limited. Now he's got a world of opportunities in front of him and to the sides of him as well. Again, because like you said, now if he can get to clear the one truck on the inside line, he can maybe jump in front of Gabe and kind of keep Gabe pinched to the inside line. But again, it just depends on who you have behind you. I think that's going to be where it is who do you trust the most. And I mean, he's got a great pusher in Bud Steele right behind him. Again, we talked about the 5 and the 9. They've worked really well since this restart. And then now add David Bond to the mix as the pusher in that bottom lane for Gabe Butler. And it looks like David's definitely no slouch either on the pushing side of things. So there's no teammates right now, though. Everybody, again, they're all mixed up. All the teammates have all been split up by a truck or two. So it's just kind of you're forced to work with who you have around you. But right now, the inside line continues to surge as Gabe Butler just noses out out of turn 2.
Absolutely, but how long can that 33 push on the bottom? You know, Vicente Guerrero was on the bottom and started losing time to that middle lane. Probably felt like the bottom wasn't the way to go. And you see Gabe Butler's drifting back just a little bit because the 33 running out of steam here with 3 to go. But the 5 still holding on strong with Charles Johnson behind. Are any of these trucks getting hot? Have they stayed on too long? Are they going to kill their runs here at the end? I don't know, Gael, if you've got a favorite or not. It's close to call, but here they go. The middle lane gets bogged down a little bit, and the 5 is going to move in front of Vicente. Vicente is going to give him a great big push and see if he can get him and the 14 both clear here for the end.
Yeah, a little bobble there, too. I think they just were a little offset on the push, but that's a great opportunity for JD, and he had to take that as soon as it opened up. So you talked about how important it was for Vicente to get from the bottom to the middle, just as important for JD to get from the top to the middle here. And that opens the door for now Charles Johnson. Now he's leading that third lane, and we're 2 to go here. So again, they just got to get half a lap around here, Maxwell, before we get the white flag. And at that point, all bets are off. Otherwise, we will get to that green-white checkered territory as these guys are pumping and grinding, and they are squeezing right now. And it is all to play for here. We'll see if this gets under regulation because they got to get all the way through this trial of Maxwell. And then it's going to be who can bring it home in one piece first.
Looks like they are going to make it to the start-finish line. 1 lap to go here on Green-White Checker TV for the finish of the Area 51 Superspeedway Truck Series at Talladega. The 5 getting real squirrely on the bumper of the 14, but still making great momentum here. They're going to have a big run down the backstretch, but what does the 5 do? Does he move up in front of Charles Johnson? Does he stay in the middle? I don't know what's going to happen here. Vicente's starting to look. That's the problem. This could give the bottom lane the momentum. Gael, what do you think?
Yeah, momentum shifting to the one truck. You see the 90 straight to the apron. Great job there by that 90 there of Gary Jenkins. But it's tight right now. A little bit of contact between the 14 and the 5 there, or sorry, the 9 out of turn 4. But now it's the drag race, and right now I don't know. It's too close to call, so it's going to be a photo finish here at the line.
Oh, and there's contact in the back. It's going to be close.
And it's going to be in the thousandths of a second, but it looks like the top 3 will be Gabe Butler, JD Crow, Vicente Guerrero are top 3. But the question is who got the overall win right now, because right now I'm showing 0-0-0. It's showing Gabe, but we're going to have to go back and wait for the final results to come out to be officially official. But Chris, you might want to start limbering up because it may be 4 in a row for that number 1 truck of Gabe Butler.
And if the 5 did not win this, Gael, it's simply from a little bit of a bobble there on the 14. The 14 got a little greedy, trying to act like he could make a move, and it was just enough. Look at the 5 get just a little squirrely there. Had to put a lot of wheel in it, and that was just enough momentum loss. If they could have kept it straight, I believe the 5 could have won this one, but I'm starting to think it is that one of Gabe Butler. But I don't know the official results yet, but right there you see the tap. Loses that little bit of momentum. And Gael, let's see what it looks like here at the line.
Yeah, so we'll see if we can pause it right at the line here to get a good view of it. So this is all just based on me. And that looks like a nose ahead for Gabe Butler. And here's the one, though. Look at this battle for the 3rd position. Unfortunately for the 07 of Robert DuPont, he was a lap down. Otherwise, you'd see this '07 truck. He would come across possibly third, but it's going to be the 14 over and basically on the nose of the 6 truck of Bud Steele, and then behind them, it's just calamity at the line here. I don't think anybody from about 4th, 5th on back were able to get through there unscathed. So what we can find out for sure, though, now here, Maxwell, is pull up those official final results, and we'll see how close it was and who our official winner is. And Chris, you got some push-ups to do, my man. Gabe Butler, 4 in a row by 6 thousandths of a second over J.D. Crow. Vicente Guerrero going to round out our top 3 here tonight over Bud Steele and Robert Rock in the top 5. And then Jay Hilliard, Matt Wagner brings it home 7th. Dean Wilkinson, Robert Jordan, Dan Harrington are top 10. And then you've got Tom Dixon, Charles Johnson, David Bond, and Eric Laurie, our final lead lap finishers there in that melee at the finish. And then a lap or more down, unfortunately, Robert DuPont, Guy Bracco, Robert Duvendak, and Derek Walker. And then we'll get the final results for the remaining drivers of Bob Fitzgerald 2 down, Gary Jenkins 3 down, then James Mohan, Jason Adams, and Randy Miner in 23rd. But Maxwell, 4 in a row for Gabe Butler. Like I said, it would kind of jokingly initially, but in the Area 51 Superspeedway Truck Gabe Butler series, as that man just, if there's a will, there's a way, and he will find it, getting 4 in a row to start off the season.
Absolutely. These boys tried tonight, but they still got so greedy. If you want to see the one get beat, you're going to have to team up on him. You can't work with him to beat him. So, man, I don't think I've seen this much plate dominance out of one driver in my iRacing career, honestly. I really don't think I've seen that much. I mean, if you go back to last season, Guile, this is 6 straight wins in the Thursday Superspeedway Truck Series. The last 6 have been won by this one truck. I mean, that's for our season. That's a half a season right there. It's
a monster. So we'll get to him though, but first we got to get to our 3rd place finisher, who again he crossed the start finish line here sideways. That is going to be that 14 of Vicente Guerrero. He is somewhere in this pile of trucks here as they were going 3 wide to take the white flag. So let's pull in that number 14 of Vicente Guerrero, because Vicente, you had a couple really good moves that looked like those could have been the moves to get you the chance to get the win. Got to the outside out from behind the one of Gabe Butler, and then JD able to get that big push into the middle lane to sneak in front of you there. But man, I mean, how tense was it those final laps there? Because I mean, it was all calm, cool, collected there, single file, saving fuel, kind of running the numbers, and then all bets were off on that last tree star. I mean, just take us through that last stint there at the end.
Yeah, I was really tense. I was nervous, white knuckling the deal, the steering wheel and stuff like that. But boy, yeah, JD got in front of me, and all I had to do is hopefully, pray for the best and push him really hard so he could get, down below. But I knew that wasn't going to work out. I knew they were going to try to hold up both lanes there. So either way, I was trying to get up on to the 3rd if I could. I know at one time that I tried to get up there. I think Charles was up there. I just wanted to just to see if I would clear up, a little bit of lane there. I didn't mean to get into him. A good thing that we didn't cause a wreck there too. I want to apologize to Charles for getting into him. And I believe coming to the white flag there, or the checkers, the 33. I don't know if I got JD a little bit loose and he had to check up a little bit because I was pushing him really hard coming to the checker flag. So, and I might have went down a little bit, or net code the 33, and then he came back up a little bit. I'm glad that we all made it through the line where I finished 3rd. So luckily, I still got a podium.
Absolutely, Vicente. Great run here tonight. Notice something different in your driving style tonight. I don't know if you've went back to the drawing board or not for these super speedway races, but saw you up front early and not really making a lot of aggressive moves and trying to go for the lead. Kind of was content in just riding most of the time. Have you reflected maybe on the past few races and how they've been involved with different wrecks and things, and maybe decided that just being there at the end kind of can get you some solid points to get you in these playoffs? Like, what was the mentality and the strategy behind tonight for you?
Um, basically, I had no teammates. I got Matt. Actually, Matt joined me in my Discord, so that was pretty fun to have him in my Discord. But basically, I just wanted to help push whoever was up front, keep them up front as long as I could, and hopefully they recognize that I was pushing them, and maybe they could return the favor, so on. But and also I also wanted to save fuel, and I just wanted to take a nice chill ride, I guess, today to it counted towards the end.
No, I mean, yeah, so it was a fun run. Say we're getting to the start finish line where it all kind of kicked off there, coming to the checkered. But yeah, super exciting race. Like you said, still able to bring home third, even if you were sideways across the line there. So it's always fun to get some exciting finishes there at the end and still hang on to those positions. But like you said, a great job tonight. It was, again, tough sledding, but you did everything you could to try to get there, to try to get that win. But another great result. And again, I mean, as long as I say, I think the main goal is you just got to get to the top 8 to get to those final 4 races, and then at that point all bets will be off for who can get that title. So a great job once again here, Vicente. I definitely want to give you the floor for the podium tonight.
Yeah, I want to thank Area 51 for having this league. I really enjoy racing with you guys. Everybody races really clean and calm and collective here. And I also want to thank you guys for broadcasting. Um, always like to go back and see how I did, and just because things that I can't see in the cockpit, but I could see it. How people maneuvering around trying to get a play going. I also want to thank Jim Brooks. My thoughts and prayers are still with him, and my team Limitless. I know they're not here, but they're my thoughts.
No, so it was a great result once again. Definitely appreciate your sentiments, man. It definitely means a lot, and yeah, definitely everything's been looking up, so it's been really positive to see, and yeah, hopefully we'll get him back on track here soon as well. So go enjoy this one, though. Like I said, another tough earned finish there, getting that podium. I look forward to seeing you again here in a couple of nights' time, man. So great job tonight.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so Maxwell, Sunday night it was pretty much reverse order by about a hood, I'd say. So I mean, say kind of you got one on Sunday. This time, say just kind of went away from you at the very, very end there. But I mean, the caution, I think that saves your race, though, because unfortunately that one extra lap there staying out there just seemed like for honestly kind of a surprise. You guys just weren't on the same page with your teammates there, with all three of you pitting at different laps between Gabe, yourself, and Eric there. And the caution brings you right back into it, and you and Bud waste no time, get to that third lane, get in control there, and make the big move to get in front of Vicente to lead that middle lane. But I mean, take us first through the strategy there on the pit stop, or possibly miscue. Say not to kind of shoot you when you're down on maybe in that situation there. But take us through the pit stop miscue possibly, and then of course that final stint to the finish here.
Yeah, well, first of all, shout out to your dad. Hope he's feeling well, and this race put a smile on his face because it was a lot of fun. Really wasn't a miscue. We all intended to pit, and then that group came in and it got real ugly. I saw Gabe pop back up. I thought we were going to go another one. We had plenty of margin on our gas at that point, and then he darted back in. So Eric and I were out with a few cars, and then man, they were just all over the place coming in on that pit entry on the next lap. And I just said, let me just go. I'll blend back in with the pack. I'll be okay. And I was just a little bit behind it and kind of lost the draft. So I was about a half a lap back when that caution came out. So had plenty of gas, so I didn't need to go in. Ended up, I think I restarted 8th or 10th. So I was on the outside where I really wanted to be, was able to make a charge and wait for a couple trucks to get up to me. And we were able to get to the high side. And then it was just a matter of, I was working, trying to get the pusher in the middle, to where he had to back off, to overheat his truck a little bit and then give us a run on the top side with Charles pushing me. And hopefully we'd time it where Charles was nice and cool to push me out far enough to get to the middle. And just patient. Wasn't as patient as I'd like to have been, but it worked out. I was able to get there, and then almost spoiled Gabe's run in this series, but it's good to finish second to Gabe any day.
talking about finishing second there, just barely. I mean, a photo finish there at the line. Just came up a little bit short, but you know, JD, we talked about it before the race, right? Me and Gaio were shooting the breeze with you and talking about the struggles of this season, talking about how it's not been the season you've really wanted, had some runs that didn't go your way, and just none of these races playing out how you needed them to, and almost had that same thing tonight with a pit stop that must have just went wrong, kind of got you a little bit out of the draft. Luckily, you were able to catch a caution, get back in this thing, and come back for a solid finish. So with all that being said, what does this do in the scope of your season, right? Looking long run, looking toward the playoffs. This has to be a huge shot in the arm for you and your team for your playoff hopes to try to make it into that top 8.
Oh yeah. We're making just baby step progress to get to that cutoff group. I think tonight's going to be a big jump for us. We talked earlier with kind of the field size and the guys that were in here that there was a high likelihood this thing would go green. And I really thought it was going to end up going green. And I was just hoping Charles could get to me without me having to back up so far that we would, be able to get together there late. And then that caution came out and kind of helped. But yeah, it's just been some iRacing bad luck and putting myself in some bad spots so far. But today I just tried to stay at the back, stay close to my team so we could kind of work together when we needed to. And it kind of worked out. But, the pit stops tonight, I think, were the big disappointment. I felt that it was a better play for me to make that extra lap than to try to dart in with guys that were coming from the bottom lane and the middle lane and going 30 miles an hour difference. It was just too much of a risk, I thought, at that point. So I knew I would be a couple seconds slow, but I almost got right back to that pack when I came out. But yeah, I guess the iRacing God said, we'll make this somebody else's bad luck race and move on to the next one. So we'll get there. I think we might be right on the edge of the top 8 in points after this with the run tonight. Vicente did a great job pushing. I'm gonna have to talk to him because he's pushing great, but I had a 0X, and after all of his pushing, I ended up with a 4X before the race was over. But I think it's just his timing, where he gets really strong on his push with the truck in front of him or car in front of him, and he was getting me right at corner entry and right at the apex of the tri-oval, which really jacked my truck up. I'm not sure how I held on to it so many times, but we'll get him there. He's greatly improved. He's improving every week, and he's a great student of it. So he's going to be a force to deal with, even more so than he is now.
Yeah, it was a great job tonight, though, JD. And that's the thing is, like you said, these guys are just only getting better and better as the seasons go on. It just makes it that much more fun and that much more difficult for you all as well as to compete against them. So, but yeah, another great run tonight. Like I said, just kind of inverted order from Sunday night's race where you were able to edge out Gabe there. Tonight he sneaks around you just by the about 6,000th, I think it was tonight. So, but yeah, before we let you go,
I had him there with about 20 yards to go, and then I looked up and saw it was 2-1. So we'll take it. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, it was definitely close there, and I mean, like I said, it's gonna be great for your points as well going into those finals. So we're already halfway through this thing, we got a couple more before we get to the playoffs somehow already. So before we let you go, though, definitely want to give you the floor. So great looking paint scheme on the side of that truck. So definitely want to give the floor for any thanks and shout outs for the runner up tonight.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to Pete for putting the colors on the truck for the J Concepts Team Associated Chevrolet Silverado. I gave him some ideas, and he found this blueprint wrap and got us all prettied up again. And thanks to the guys down at J Concepts for the work they do. And if you're into RC drag racing, we just released a new Copo Chevrolet Camaro for you drag slash guys, and they're available today. So if you want a new hot rod for your RC drag car, go check them out, jconcepts.net. Shout out to the Boot Knocker team. I told you guys earlier that you got to watch that Gary Jenkins guy. He is a qualifying king, and he showed it tonight with putting his truck on the pole, and just had some bad luck on that wave around. But he's a strong player on our team, and then we got Eric, who's been solid as well. And of course, we've got the captain, Gabe. So congratulations, Captain, on the win tonight, and all the other boot knockers out there we run with. We appreciate the support and the coaching you guys give us, and it's good to be a boot knocker.
All right, great job, JD. Looking forward to seeing you again here soon. Go enjoy this one, and we'll chat soon, I'm sure.
You bet. Have a great week, guys. Happy holiday for everybody this weekend in America, and we'll see you guys the next round.
All right, that leaves us one driver to chat with here, Maxwell. That is going to be our race winner in that number one machine of Gabe Butler. And so we're going to pull him on in and say he's going to have some happy people, and he's going to have a very disappointed person, though, tonight, Gabe, because you've just made a certain Chris Matthews, one of our fellow broadcasters here, and so he's going to have to do some push-ups for you, because he said if Gabe wins 4 in a row, I'm going to do 30. And it's like, well, it'd be 4 in a row. You should probably do 40. And he agreed to the terms, and 6,000s to the good there. You get the win here, and he's going to be a very sore fella here whenever he decides to make this happen. So yeah, again, forcing some exercise in for one of our broadcasters tonight, getting the win here.
Well, if we don't see any pictures, we don't believe him. So we better see sweaty pictures of Chris here shortly.
Oh, don't worry. I'll hold him honest to say he's not too far away from me. I can make the road trip up there and make sure it happens if I have to. But Gabe, I mean, don't get the pole. However, lead lap number 1, get to the apron, kind of go into your fuel save, play it safe strategy. And really, that's kind of the tone of the race here tonight. Did have the one miscue where you overshot your pit stall just a little bit, but really all the fuel saving you were able to do over the course of those runs, though, were able to kind of work back in your favor and kind of just offset what you lost, maybe just by that little overshoot. And then, I mean, you're working both lines. You kind of maybe trying to figure out which was the place to be for you tonight. I mean, take us through the strategy there at the end of middle lane, inside lane. I mean, were you just trying to feel them out, or just kind of watching the surges? Or, I mean, what are you trying to manage there when you're up front trying to control this race?
A couple of things, really. One is kind of try to feel where the best place to be is, like who's getting a better run and where it's happening at. And the other point is, I was getting really good pushes there from Vicente, and I was trying to get him some air and get him cool. So when I had an opportunity to go up to the middle lane, I figured we'd be able to get him cool back down, and then I knew I'd get a run at some point to get back down there, and hopefully I was able to time it to where, to be less laps left, and he'd be plenty cool to be able to push me if need be. And that was kind of the thought process behind that. But I have to say, I got super lucky with pushes tonight from different people. I mean, Robert Dubin gave me a great push in the third line there at one point. Vincente, and of course David there at the end. He I don't know how he was keeping it cool, but I didn't want to move too much and offset him really bad. But he did a fantastic job pushing, and unfortunately there was a wreck there at the end, and was able to squeeze out JD. So all in all, a good night, but I just felt like I got super lucky.
Gabe, congrats on yet another win here in the Super Speedway Series. We knew you were good at this, but I mean, have you ever went on a tear this hard? 4 straight wins this season alone, counting the 2 wins at the end of last season. That is 6 in a row. That's enough for a half of a season. Gabe, what's it going to take for some people to beat you, man? You find yourself in the right spot every single time, but you did have one pit stop that we were kind of worried about you. Talk us through it. How did you recover from the pit stop where you had to go back and pick up the 5 there? They got a little bit out of shape in pit road. I thought y'all were goners in that pack. How did you catch back up to keep yourself in the game there?
Yeah, we saw he was in trouble a little bit, and so basically what we tried to do was not drop back dramatically, but just ease back to him and kind of keep Eric in my draft, and then hopefully JD would catch Eric's draft, and kind of split the difference type of thing. And we were able to do that, and it worked out great. We were able to. He was able to pick up Eric. They were able to pick up me, and we were able to move forward and catch the tail end of the pack. So I thought we did a real good job of figuring that one out and getting it back in order.
Yeah, it was like I said, the team effort. I mean, you guys week in and week out, you make it look easy at times, but you did a little bit of everything tonight. And saying it was looking tough for JD, and then that caution obviously brings everybody back into the thick of it there as well. And like I said, able to get the win here this evening. JD able to get that runner-up spot. Unfortunately, Eric caught up in that late incident on his side, but and so even with the 3 trucks, you guys were on it tonight. You're able to pull off the win. Like I said, 4 in a row to kick off the season. So, like I said, I mean, and I know you're aware of it. Obviously, it's like it's great and all, but obviously, once everything resets back to the playoffs, it's almost like kind of you clean slate there. So, unfortunately, you won't be able to take all those extra points with you. But I'm sure for now you're just enjoying what you're having while you're getting it. But I mean, definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for that win once again tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I feel like I might be using all my luck up here, but anyway, we'll keep going with what we're doing. But shout out to the Boot Knocker boys. We had a great night again tonight. Eric, JD, Gary. It's great to have Gary in with us. I met Gary when I first started iRacing, and he kind of showed me the ropes. So I'll be forever grateful to Gary for that. And of course, Area 51 and Charles and the admins for putting this on, and of course, you guys for doing a tremendous broadcast as usual.
All right, Gabe. We'll let you go debrief with your teammates. Go enjoy this one, man. And I look forward to seeing you again in a couple of nights' time. So good job once again. So we'll definitely get some video, picture, whatever we need, proof of Chris holding up his end of the bargain. So say if you keep this up, I'll say he might be winding up and getting in really, really great shape in a pretty short amount of time. So maybe have to start up Gabe's gym here shortly. So great job tonight, man.
All right, fellas. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, Maxwell, that is our race winner in that number 1 truck of Gabe Butler. And like I said, just some way, somehow, he finds his way to the front when it's time to make it happen. And another great win for him this evening. Yeah, it's just impressive. Like it's one of those things like you almost get to a loss of what to say and to kind of just explain how he's able to do it, because I don't think there's a way to explain how he's able to do it. It's just he's that good. He puts himself in the right place at the right times, and he makes the most of it when he gets those opportunities.
I've never seen a driver at a super speedway have the amount of talent and luck it takes to win as much as I have with Gabe Butler. Gabe Butler I felt like in iRacing I was decent at plate racing until I went and teamed up with them one season. And man, in that one season, I learned so much about fuel strategy, about tires, just the science these guys bring this down to just to make these race runs. I mean, you feel like you're at NASA getting ready for a shuttle liftoff, right? Like these guys have so many numbers crunching, so many things going on behind the scenes, but they make it look flawless week in and week out. Team Boot Knocker, not disappointing. Definitely showing us they got what it takes, and Gabe showing us he ain't slowing down anytime soon. And Gael, it may be too soon to say it, but I mean, he could easily be our champion this season the rate he's running. So I know there's a playoffs coming up and anything can happen, but just off raw speed, this one of Gabe Butler's got it in the bag right now.
Yeah, no, he's definitely looking like the one to be. But again, I mean, it's one of those things. I'm never sold on it when they talk about it during the peaking at the right time and all that kind of thing. But I think there is something to be said about we still got halfway through the season to go. So I think some drivers are going to kind of find their feet and kind of just maybe find that little missing link, if you will, that's going to kind of propel them that extra spot or two. Where they feel a little bit better about themselves, and again, maybe even just find little settings and things. Say this is an ever-changing sport. I mean, with sim racing, of course, there's updates. There's going to be some patches done in iRacing here pretty shortly as well. It might affect the trucks. It might actually hurt Gabe a little bit. Maybe help somebody else. You never know, and that's what these guys have to stay on top of over the course of these seasons. So it's going to be fun. I'll say we're definitely gonna be looking forward to see the rest of it. But yeah, tonight though, Gabe's gonna definitely be enjoying that 4 in a row to start off the season. And Maxwell, as always, was a pleasure to do these with you. Looking forward to doing a few more here over the course of the season. Like I said, we'll have some more fun on track as well. Like I said, we got Matt in the field here tonight. We'll probably get some more of our broadcasters in the field here soon as well. So. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us here tonight, Maxwell. Like I said, thank you so much for doing these with me. It's a lot of fun to share the booth with you. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed it tonight. Like I said, don't be shy. Feel free to pop in and chat with us. Any questions, comments, concerns, that's what we're here for. We want to try to make it the best experience we can for all of you. So like JD mentioned, hope for those that are able to take advantage of it, hope you have a wonderful and safe Labor Day. That being said, we will be back on Sunday night for the Super Speedway Xfinity Series, so stay tuned for that one. Until then, though, stay safe, take care, and we'll see you all on Sunday. Have a good night, everyone.